Hello and welcome. My name is Biagio Mazza, Pastoral Associate at St. Sabina Parish in Belton, Missouri, and I'm here to welcome you to another Do You Know series question. Today's Do You Know question is, do you know the backdrop to the brothers and sisters of Jesus that show up in the Gospels? In order to understand this, it's important first of all to affirm the Catholic tradition that since the 4th century, Mary has been understood to be a perpetual virgin. St. Augustine, who died in the year 430, proclaimed in the early part of the 5th century that Mary was a virgin before, during, after, and forever. So if this is the doctrinal position of the Church, how do we understand the brothers and sisters of Jesus that are mentioned consistently in the Gospels? The Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Paul, as well as the Gospel of John, mentions Jesus having brothers and sisters. As a matter of fact, in Mark's Gospel, the brothers, there are at least 4 brothers mentioned, and the least plural is used for the word for sisters, so there must have been more than one sister as well, even though they're not named. So how do we understand this? Well, depending on the various perspectives that have influenced Christianity throughout the years, we've zeroed in at least 3 different interpretations of the brothers and sisters of Jesus mentioned in the Gospel. We do know that the Greek word that was used for brother and sister would be the word adelphos, the Greek word adelphos, meaning literally the physical siblings, the physical brothers and sisters of Jesus. And so we know that's for certain. But because of doctrinal perspective and attitudes, different interpretations have resulted. So let's start with the Catholic interpretation of the brothers and sisters of Jesus. From the Catholic tradition, we know that Mary is a perpetual virgin, and therefore, by the very fact, she had no other children but Jesus. So how do we understand and interpret the brothers and sisters of Jesus in the Gospels? Well, the Catholic tradition has understood them to be members of the extended family of Jesus. So Mary and Joseph only had Jesus, and she was a virgin when that happened, and that the brothers and sisters are actually cousins, extended family, uncles even, whatever it might be, but certainly not in any way related, blood related to Jesus. So that is the Catholic position, has been consistently from the beginning, at least from the 4th century. From the Orthodox tradition, especially when it split from the Latin Church in the year 1054, from the Orthodox tradition, they bought into an interpretation that was based on a gospel that was not really inspired or accepted into the canonical scriptures, the infancy gospel of James, in which that gospel explains that Joseph was an older man when he married Mary, and that he had been married before, and his wife had died, and so he was a widow, and he had children by that previous marriage. So from the Orthodox perspective, they pick up on the infancy gospel of James, and they actually explain the brothers and sisters of Jesus to be his stepbrothers and sisters from a previous marriage by Joseph. So there's the Orthodox tradition with regards to the interpretation of brothers and sisters of Jesus. We have a third position that comes from the Protestant tradition, and the Protestant tradition essentially buys into the interpretation that Mary was a virgin when she had Jesus, but after Jesus she had regular relationships with Joseph and had more children, brothers and sisters of Jesus. So from the Protestant tradition, these, for the most part, these would be the physical brothers and sisters of Jesus, and that's how they would interpret that. So we have 3 different interpretations, but no matter which interpretations you buy into, one of the things that's really important that all interpretations hold in common is the fact that Mary was a virgin when she had conceived and gave birth to Jesus. And so that is the one thing that holds all these traditions together, the focus on Mary's virginity at the birth of Jesus. However, we do differ in our interpretation of who the brothers and sisters of Jesus are. And I think it's important to focus on what we have in common as opposed to what we disagree on or have different perspectives on. So I think focusing on what we have in common and respecting one another for our differences, and even possibly reveling in the differences. Try to have other explanations for the brothers and sisters of Jesus other than the fact that they were his cousins, really enhances our tradition, the Christian tradition, and really enhances the backdrop to the interpretation of the brothers and sisters of Jesus in the Gospels. So I hope this has helped to explain just a bit about the brothers and sisters of Jesus and the various Christians' interpretations of them. And I hope you will return again to more Do You Know series question to grow in our faith and to have deeper understanding of what it means to be a Christian disciple. Thank you very much.